now that we've done every single Everdark, we still don't have the Night aspect yet, so we can't really rank him fairly. But now that we have every single Everdark done, I first tried most of these bosses, solo and trios, so I feel like I'm pretty qualified to talk about the state of the bosses, or at least just how fun and interesting they are. I'm not going to really base them off difficulty. I'm just going to base them off, like, were they fun to fight? Were they good? So starting with the most controversial one recently, I think Libra's not S tier. I think he's A. Again, this is something that I'm probably going to get a lot of controversy. The reason I think he's A, because I think the boss fight is intentionally bullshit, right? You hate the boss fight because it's bullshit. I like the boss fight because it's bullshit. Boss that is all centered around madness, going insane, frenzy, chaos, is a chaotic, maddening fight that pisses everybody off. It's intentionally bullshit, and I think it's just fun. I think it's fun. Do I think it's a fair fight? No, not at all. I think a lot of the fight is kind of bullshit, but I think it's intentionally bullshit. And I think it works just because it's like really chaotic, and I like that about it. I think the biggest issue with this fight is that when the NPCs spawn, Libra can kind of damage them with only very few select attacks. I don't remember off the top of my head, but only like very few specific attacks can damage the NPCs by himself. So like the things that he does, most of the things that he can do not damage his NPCs that he summons. Some of the golden AoE stuff that he does can, but it's like 1 or 2 attacks total. At least that I've noticed. I think it should be all. I think what would make this boss fight really, really good and really fun and a lot more balanced, I guess, in the eyes of the community, is if, for whatever reason, when he summons an NPC, everything that he does should be able to hit them. Like, if they're in the way of his staff, it should knock them aside. If they're under the glowing, like, rupture, like, sigil, it should blow them up and knock them up. The fact that it ignores the NPCs for, like, 90% of his moveset, I think that's what makes the fight a little bit bullshit. I think it would be completely fine. Like, let him spawn as many NPCs as he wants, but also make it so that he can just equally damage them. Like, whatever can damage us as a player should also be able to damage the NPCs that he spawns. I feel like that'd be a really cool equal ground that would make it a lot better. I think that's the only big issue, though, is that he spawns a bunch of NPCs and they kind of just ignore all of his attacks. I think if he could actually kill them more consistently and, like, hit them more consistently himself, like, both directly or indirectly, would make the boss fight a lot better. But I think it's fun. I think it really fits the theme of, you know, going insane, going mad. I feel like it's very chaotic, and I mean, I think, like, I just genuinely think that's what they were going for. You're sitting there being like, man, this boss is bullshit, and, like, Ichizaki looks over like, I know, right? It's making you insane, isn't it? Like, that, I feel like that was the intended effect. Anyways, Fissure in the Fog. I think Fissure in the Fog is a B tier, okay? Because the base boss is very, very cinematic, all right? And the problem with the base boss being so cinematic is that they took away all of the cinema. And they added, like, the gimmick of, like, the stone armor, which I don't think the stone armor is, like, that big of a deal. If you've ever played Monster Hunter, it kind of just feels like you're trying to break the body parts of Monster Hunter enemies. I played a lot of Monster Hunter Wilds. So breaking the stone, breaking the parts just reminds me of Monster Hunter. I don't think it's, like, too bad. I just feel like they took away a lot of the cinema from it. The fact that it had, like, these really cool, like, cinematic effects, and they just stripped away all of the parts that made it unique or interesting, and then just, like, gave it stone armor. I feel like they kind of, like, took a step backwards with that. But I didn't really mind the part breaking thing. I think the part breaking gimmick is actually really good, because when you break all body parts of the stone, it actually results in, like, a guaranteed posture break. Like, it does damage to it for each part broken, and then it does a posture break. 1 head, 1 torso and legs. It's both, and then 1 tail, and then 2 wings, like 1 of each wing. So I think it's 5 parts total. If you break all 5, it's a guaranteed posture break. Are you kidding me? Oh, he's dead. New CALIGO, unless there's a second phase here. That's it. There we go. I don't think it's, like, anything special. I feel like they took all of the cool parts away from it. They should have kept the cinema. They should have really cranked up those, like, cinematic effects that they had in the initial phase, or, like, the initial default expedition that they got rid of in the Everdark version. So that's why it's B tier. Sentient Pest, D tier. That's, I mean, okay. I like it, kinda. But I really don't like how it restricts most playstyles to just, like, you need fire. Boss fight is, like, it's such a DPS check, like a stat check, basically, because the boss has so much HP, and it kind of does, like, the whole, like, Lothric Twin Princes, like, gimmick, but, like, a little bit bad, in my opinion. It does it worse. Like, I feel like the Lothric Twin Princes did this gimmick better, where, like, it just keeps being revived, because it was really easy to hit the guy on the back. I forget the name, like Lorien or something. Because when he gets revived in Dark Souls 3, you don't even have to hit the guy being possessed. You can just hit directly the guy on the back. I feel like the animus that spawns is like really hard to hit for like most people, at least reliably, because you can't really focus him down. Like you're forced to just whittle down these giant tanky bosses over and over. Like the scorpion can res like 3 times in a single run because of how the animus works. So there's just no real way to really like DPS it down unless you're like a mage or Iron Eye with like a fire bow. But I mean, it's either C or D. I would put it at D, honestly, just because I don't like the gimmick. I think they've done the gimmick better. It's either D or C. I'm gonna put it at D. Someone's got to go to D. Augur at C. I think part of what makes Augur good was that they buffed the Ash of War to do like more damage, charge faster, and be better. So it's like a little bit better than it was initially. Is it boring? Yeah. But again, this is like one of those funny things. It's like, haha, the boss puts you to sleep in game and in real life. Like, forehead, like, I don't know. I feel like that's just what they wanted to do. The thing I don't like about this boss fight, though, is like, I don't think it's a bad boss fight. I just don't like how it restricts you into using the Ash of War. Like, everything you've done in your run until this point of the boss existing and fighting the boss is irrelevant because you have to use the Ash of War. I tried doing a challenge, like a challenge run, where I didn't do the Ash of War at all. So I was using only spells. Even with spells, and even with Iron Eye or range, I tested, it's always like very slightly out of range where you can't even use most spells against it. So I spent literally more than 30 minutes on this boss fight using no weapons, using spells and ranged attacks, trying to kill it without using the Ash of War. It's not impossible. I didn't do it. I didn't finish it, but it's not impossible. I got close, but it literally took like almost an hour to get it to half HP. So based on what I was doing at the time, it would have taken like nearly 2 hours to kill this without using the Ash of War. And I think that is the failure, because if you look at Yorm the Giant of Dark Souls 3, at least in that fight when they do this gimmick, and with Rykard when they have the other sort of like Storm Ruler gimmick or Serpent Hunter gimmick, whatever you want to call it, with the air slash attacks, in both the most recent examples of Yorm the Giant and the Rykard fight, is you can use the Ash of War, but you don't have to. You're not pigeonholed into using the Ash of War. You can use it to make the fight infinitely easier, but you can also use spells, you can use melee weapons, you can approach the fight from different ways, and it doesn't prevent you from using it. Like, you can kill Yorm with just spells and melee weapons if you want to. Is it going to be super effective? Not really, but it's still possible. And especially if you have a good build, it's not too bad. Same with Rykard. Like, you can one-shot it with, like, Ancient Dragon's Lightning Strike. Like, it's doable. Comet Azure even. Like, it's not bad. It's possible, which is what I think makes those fights better. But from what I can tell, this is supposed to be like the Demon Souls version, which I didn't fight the Storm Ruler one in Demon Souls. And I think they're trying to make it more like the Demon Souls version, which I think is just out of date. I feel like what should have been this fight is it should have been, okay, make it super brain dead easy to use the Ash of War, but you can still use your other stuff on it and like give you more windows to use other things. I feel like the fact that you literally can't use anything except the Ash of War is why this fight kind of sucks. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's just the fact that you have to use Ash of War. You have to drop your weapon to make room for the Ash of War. Your build until this point literally doesn't matter. It just sucks because of that. I feel like there should be more freedom in it. Now, Gaping Jaw, Dark Drift Knight, Tricephalos. I think Dark Drift Knight is A tier. I think it's actually going to be A tier because I thought it was harder. I thought it was harder in its normal mode. It was actually like the little noodle arm, like the darkness noodle arm, like the abyss arm, whatever he does. That thing in his normal mode is way harder than the twin blades. I think the twin blades are really cool. It's really flashy, but I feel like it's way, way easier. Like a little bit too easy. And I feel like because of that, it's not as interesting. It's not as compelling of a fight. Like, I think the first time that you fight it, you're like, okay, this is kind of crazy. How do I dodge the twin blade? But then you just have to run around and like grab onto his horsecock from behind, and then you're pretty much never going to die to the twin blade, like ever. Like, it's a really wide opening. Like, he's charging up his twin blade, like, oh shit, charging up my twin blade, get ready to dodge. If you just run into him, hug his ass, you literally don't even need to roll. You can just sit there behind him. In my opinion, he's the only boss where his Everdark version is easier than his base version. I think the Equilibrious Beast Everdark is harder. I think the Fissure in the Fog Everdark is harder. Augur, not necessarily harder, but definitely more annoying. Sentient Pest harder. Gaping Jaw harder. Tricephalos harder. Like, they're all harder in their Everdark. Like, maybe not a whole lot more difficult, but at least a little bit. I feel like he's the only one where he actually got a lot easier, in my opinion. Like, I swear, I get my ass kicked by that little pool noodle arm, wacky, waveable, inflatable, flailing arm noodle that he has in his darkness mode in his, like, default expedition. And it gets rid of that for the twin blade. And the twin blade's a lot more honest. It's a lot more, like, telegraphed. It's very easy to dodge. And I don't know. I mean, out of all these bosses, I feel like his normal one is way harder. So he could definitely be S. Just because he is cool. I like the nuke attack. I think it's really cool. But again, it's like easy to dodge. You just run underneath him. You don't even have to time it. Like as soon as he goes up in the air and stops to charge his bow, you just run under him. You don't even need to dodge. Like 2 of his hardest attacks, I guess, like his most difficult attacks, like the Twin Blade Whirlwind, you just run behind him. Don't even need to dodge. Don't even need to roll. And then his nuke, you just stand still and then run under him. Again, you don't need to dodge. You don't need to do anything. You just run. So I feel like once you actually learn how to dodge him, he just becomes like really, really easy. Because of that. It's a lot easier to avoid once you actually learn how to do it, because you don't even need to roll. You can just run behind him. Gaping Jaw. I think Gaping Jaw is a strong A tier. I really like Gaping Jaw. I think they started off really, really strong with the Gaping Jaw. I think that was like one of my favorite fights. It still is top 3 in my opinion. I think it's A tier because not really much changed. I did like the Storm gimmick. I thought that was pretty cool. Seeing this massive like 10 million ton dragon fly around and zip around in the air like nothing personal style was really cool. It was like, what the fuck? He's just teleporting and like zipping around on the screen like a judgment cut. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was a really interesting fight. He doesn't really do anything besides just get more AoE. Like whenever he bites you, it's like electric AoE. It's like bigger. And then it's pretty much just like the storm. But I like it. I like the fight. I love it. I think also one thing that most people don't know that I think makes this fight even cooler is that he's actually a dragon. So if you do the Mountaintop of the Giants, you can get the dragon effect, the anti-dragon effect for like, I think 15% more damage to dragons. And it works on the Gaping Jaw. It works on the enhanced version and the regular version, where poison only works on the basic version and does not work on the Everdark version. So if you try to poison him for the weakness, it doesn't actually affect the Everdark one, but the dragon debuff still persists. And I really like it for that. I didn't know about that at first, but it's fun. I think it's a fun fight. I like fighting it. It's very fun. Then today, Tricephalos. I think it's peak. It's up there. I like it. My initial thought about it is that it just felt like the same boss fight, but a lot more AoE and a lot more chain attacks like finishers. So like, for example, if he whips his like chain sword around like 3 times in the base fight, he does it like 5 times total, like in the enhanced fight. And then there's like explosion follow-ups, so it can roll catch you. A lot of roll catching, a lot of AoE spam. I don't think it's too dishonest though. It reminds me a little bit of the Knight aspect. Like the nuke that he has, I'm pretty sure they just ripped the code out of the Knight aspect and put it onto his sword. The one where he throws a sword really high up in the air and then when it touches the floor, it just nukes you. I'm pretty sure that's the exact same animation as the Knight aspect, by the way. Like, I'm like 90% sure they just ripped that out and put it onto him. Then he has like the Fang over Fang attack where he like dashes at you like Fang over Fang and then and they all charge at you like with the enhanced like AoE like fire dash. I think that was pretty cool. I think the only thing that's weird about him, he gets a 3 times triple attack buff. This guy gets like, he gets a Swords Dance. Literally, they gave him a Swords Dance. This guy's a fucking Pokemon. They gave him a Swords Dance attack buff. But him getting a triple attack buff pretty much guarantees that you're going to get one shot at some point. Okay, so I think I found out how the attack buff works for the wolf. The reason that he gets a 3 times attack buff is because it's basically a taunt. The wolf will kind of stare you down and then aura farm, aura walk at you without really doing anything. And if you attack him during his like aura farm walk, that's when he gets the attack buff. And I'll show you an example on screen here, but I figured it out a little bit after. That 3 times attack buff is very deadly though, and you will get one shot after, which I think is kind of lame, because even if you're like a tankier class, like a Guardian or an Executor, I was playing with Distortion too earlier on the boss, and they just got one shot because he had the 3 times attack buff. Like, if you're, I don't know, if you don't dodge it and you don't block it, like you will just die. And I think that's kind of weird. It feels like you're just getting stat checked for like, it's not really a skill issue. It's like, oh, he just has 3 times his normal damage. All right, I guess I'm dead. I guess I'll die. But other than that, I think the fight's really cool. I think it's really fun. It's a very fun fight. I would rather fight this boss a million times compared to like Sentient Pest or Augur. And then we have the Knight aspect. We're probably not going to see him for like another 3 months. I don't know. I don't know when they plan to release it, but they've already said that this is the end of this Everdark Sovereign round. So we're probably going to get a mix of every single boss in like the near future. Like in the ongoing weeks and months, they're just going to shift everything around. Like Augur with Dark Drift Knight, Augur with Tricephalos, and like just do that for like another 3 months to just waste time. And then give us the Knight aspect probably around the time that the DLC comes out, I would assume. We have no idea though. I don't know, but yeah, these are my thoughts on the bosses. I first tried pretty much every boss solo and trios. The only boss I didn't first try was Dark Drift Knight. I mean, all of these are on my channel too, so you can see them yourself. But yeah, I think it was really cool. This is my ranking. If you agree, disagree, let me know why or why not. I think I will take this to my grave. I'll probably get a lot of hate for this Equilibrius piece, but I genuinely just think it's bullshit on purpose. Like, I don't know if people will understand what I mean by that, but like, people are like, this fight's unfair, it's bullshit, it's driving me insane, and I hate it. And I'm like, yeah, this fight is unfair, this fight is bullshit, and it is driving you insane. I think that's what they wanted to go for with the madness effect, you know? But yeah, that's it.